In the dim-lit alleyway of a city that never seemed to stop, the harsh sounds of footsteps on wet pavement drowned out everything else. Cars honked, people yelled, and yet one voice broke through the noise, faint but desperate. "Please, sir, help me. My little brother, he's sick. He's dying." Subscribe and write in the comments. Where are you watching this video from? Ethan Harris, a well-known investment banker, was walking briskly through the rain, his mind heavy with upcoming meetings and numbers. He had built his empire from the ground up, growing from a boy who once struggled to make ends meet, into someone who no longer knew how to say no to success. But now as he paused, the cold rain soaking into his designer coat, he couldn't ignore the voice that had called out to him. He turned slowly, heart pounding, and saw a young girl no older than 8, her face pale, hair matted with rain, holding a small bundle in her arms. The small figure inside stirred, a soft whimper coming from it. The child was tiny, too small for her age, clad in ragged clothes, the smell of illness clinging to her. Ethan felt a pang deep in his chest, the world around him pausing for a moment. His mind raced, thoughts of business plans and deadlines fading into the background. This wasn't a transaction. This wasn't about figures or negotiations. This was something different. The girl was shaking, and her breath was coming in short, labored gasps. "Please, she's sick. Can you help us?" Her voice cracked. Ethan knelt down, his usual composure slipping as he took in the scene before him. The child in her arms was barely conscious, her skin pale and her body limp. "What's her name?" Ethan asked, his voice quiet, his heart heavy with emotions he didn't understand. "Her name is Mia," the girl said, clutching the bundle closer, her face twisted with fear and desperation. "She needs a doctor. I don't know what to do." Ethan swallowed hard. He could see the fear in her eyes. This wasn't a beggar asking for handouts. This was a desperate child, a sister trying to save her sibling. Without thinking, Ethan placed a hand gently on the girl's shoulder. "Come with me," he said softly. She hesitated, eyes wary, as if afraid he would disappear as quickly as he had arrived. But then she nodded, too exhausted to argue, and he helped her carefully into the back of his sleek car. The journey to the nearest hospital felt like a blur of flashing lights and confusion. Ethan could feel the heat from Mia's small body, the ragged breaths she took, and yet there was no time to waste. He drove faster than he had ever driven, pushing through red lights, heart hammering in his chest. His mind was still clouded with confusion. Why had he stopped? He was a businessman. This wasn't his world. His world was boardrooms, strategies, and cold logic. But now in the back seat, he had become something else. A man with the power to change someone's life. At the hospital, the doctors took Mia away in a rush, asking questions Ethan couldn't answer. The nurses asked for forms, information he didn't have. His mind swirled with uncertainty. Where had these children come from? How could a little girl like this be on the streets? Hours later, when Ethan was sitting in the sterile hospital waiting room, the girl, whose name was Sarah, came to him, her eyes red and puffy. "She's going to be okay," Sarah whispered, her voice barely audible. "The doctor said you saved her life." Ethan nodded, unsure of what to say. "What happened to your parents, Sarah?" he asked. She hesitated, her gaze dropping to the floor. They died last year. Mom from cancer, and Dad just disappeared. I tried to take care of Mia, but I don't know what to do. We've been on the streets for months trying to survive. I just wanted her to be safe." Ethan's heart clenched. He had heard countless stories of children suffering in the world, but something about this hit him harder than anything else ever had. He had built his life on controlling every detail, creating order from chaos. But this was chaos beyond anything he could control. That night, Ethan made a decision that changed the course of his life. No more rushing through his days, consumed by the need for more. He would take responsibility for these children, for Sarah and Mia, and give them a chance at a life they had been denied. Over the next few days, Ethan arranged for Mia to receive the best care. He provided Sarah with everything she needed: clothes, food, education. But more importantly, he gave them something they hadn't had in a long time: hope. At first, Sarah was hesitant, afraid that he would disappear like so many others had. But Ethan showed up every day, giving her stability, something she could rely on. As weeks passed, Sarah grew more comfortable. She began to trust Ethan, and Mia's health slowly improved. Sarah started to talk more about her dreams, her fears, and for the first time in a long while, she allowed herself to smile. Mia, too, began to thrive, her laughter filling Ethan's home. Ethan learned more from these children than he had learned from any business deal. He realized that there was more to life than the endless pursuit of wealth. What mattered most was the ability to love, to care for others, to build something real from the pieces of a broken world. Months later, as Ethan stood in front of a group of colleagues at a high-profile event, he realized something important. When he had first stopped to help Sarah and Mia, he thought he was the one offering help. But in the end, it was they who had saved him, from the emptiness that had consumed him for so long. And when Sarah graduated from school with honors, standing tall in her cap and gown, she looked over at Ethan, a proud smile on her face. "This is for you," she said into the microphone, "for the man who never gave up on us, for the man who showed me what it means to truly care." Ethan smiled, his eyes filled with pride. He had saved more than just their lives. He had saved his own, through the power of love and compassion. This was the investment that mattered most. If this story moved you, don't forget to subscribe for more. Watch our next video to discover another powerful journey and share this one with someone who needs to hear.